What's up, everybody? Where my people at? Make some noise. Yeah, yeah. About to do a little song that we recorded a little while back. You already saw this gentleman perform earlier for you today. If you want to see more of his talents, just come June 22nd to the Animal Rights Music Festival in New York. This is the second annual. It'll be in Brooklyn at the Knitting Factory. All the artists that'll be performing will be either vegan or animal rights activists, and all the proceeds go to Sanctuary. So let's do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Hip-hop is green.
Turn me up.
All my vegans, make some noise. New York City. Yeah. Yeah.
You got the bag with bodies in it. Shut it. You got a bag with bodies in it. I got a bag with life for my body in it. Spent all my cash. If it ain't vegan, more and more animals you will kill it. Look, mama so hot, she only eat plants. She stay away from the trash. Get it organic, fuck up a bag. Your body will thank you for that. Groceries, I got nothing but my vegan needs. Got everything to fulfill all my vegan needs. You don't understand, you can't comprehend when I'm thinking my vegan needs. Cruelty free, we eating in peace. We about to have us a feast.
We think that protein ain't had a life and got feelings too. Climate change and torture.
All of that'll be on you.
You can catch me outside.
Eating some fresh fruits.
Grown straight out of the dirt. That's Mother Earth's roots. Dead body eats got opinions. All my vegans speak truth. Why not spit from the heart? Every time I'm in a booth. Oh, they say it don't sell. They rap about guns, they don't shoot. Every day they say to you, more vegan bodies in.
Won't do.
Turning this whole world vegan, giving Babylon the boot. Rappers out here talking about Molly Percocets. When people got meat riding in they colas, eat dead flesh. 15-year-olds getting heart attacks. Sleep sheep, ignoring facts. Obesity out of all time. The same people eating Big Macs. Fried chicken, blood steaks. I got plans on my plates. My animal, these are dead bodies of my face.
You got a bag with bodies in it. I got a bag with life for my body in it. Spent all my cash. If it ain't vegan, more and more animals you will kill it. Little mama so hot, she only eat plants. She stay away from the trash. Get it organic, fuck up a bag. Your body will thank you for that. Groceries, I got nothing but my vegan needs. Got everything to fulfill all my vegan needs. You don't understand, you can't comprehend when I'm kicking my vegan needs. Cruelty free, we eating in peace. We about to have us a feast.
I'ma start the question with your fucking mama and your fucking papa.
Torture. I don't know, I forgot.
Haters, Philly's back on that ball, but now
Literally the only animal that I'm down to climb is my vegan queen, and I do that there with hostility. G-A-N-G, we do what we do till the cage free. And you can get down with the crew if you ain't about it or lazy. Mama made me, hood raised me, but I ain't been the same since I became an ARA, and the AR game changed me. Facts, baby. Speaking of babies, did you know that the dairy industry is killing babies every time you pour a little bit of milk in
on
your
your
cereal?
Yeah.
If that's the case, then go get you some almond milk.
Chill.
Nobody buys, nobody dies, no blood is spilled. You got a bag with bodies in it, I got a bag with life for my body in it. Spent all my cash, if it ain't vegan, more and more animals you will kill it. Lil' mama so hot, she only eat plants, she stay away from the trash. Get it organic, fuck up a bag, your body will thank you for that. Groceries, I got nothing but my vegan needs. Got everything to fulfill all my vegan needs. You don't understand, you can't comprehend when I'm kicking my vegan needs. Cruelty free, we eating in peace. We about to have us a feast.
Hey, please do excuse me, guys. We gotta do way more songs together.
Excuse us for that.
It's been a minute. When do we record that? 20?
I'm gonna sing Colors of the Wind. Think I'm an ignorant savage. Being so many places, I guess it must be so. But still I cannot see if the savage one is me. How can there be so much that you don't know? You don't know. Think you won whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim, but I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. I think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you learn things you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corner moon, or ask the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run late in pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come rolling all the reaches all around you, and for once never wonder what the world. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends, and we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. High will the sycamore grow. If you cut it down, then you never know. And you'll never the wolf cry to the blue corn moon. For whether we are white or copper skinned, we need to sing with all the voices of the mountain. We need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you want is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Go vegan!
Wow, it's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to see you all out here today. You know, a lot of us feel like the world is getting worse. Poverty and violence and political corruption and so on, instability, oppression. But there's something happening right under our noses when we step back and look at the bigger picture. There's another story taking place that most of us don't see, and that's the story of progress. You know, the number of people in extreme poverty today, the percentage of the population, is lower than it has been in hundreds of years. The number of people barely able to survive, the percentage of the population is rapidly declining. The percentage of the world's population that is dying in warfare is rapidly declining. The percentage of people who show, who display, and who hold racist and sexist beliefs and opinions and attitudes is sharply on the decline in the United States and around the world. This is something that's documented by data globally and in our country, and it's something to celebrate. But it's also something to ask a question about. Why are these things happening? Why is it that human slavery was accepted as just a normal way that the world has always been, and something that was an institution imagined to be something that would always take place, just normal and a way of life? How did it turn from that into something that's almost universally unacceptable? human slavery for thousands of years was just the way things are. And then suddenly it's reversed. Well, there are many, many causal factors in this progress, but one of them is the expanding circle of our moral concern. That every one of us holds basic ethical principles, that causing harm, causing suffering is a bad thing. And the members of our own groups, our tribes, our nations, and race, gender, and so forth, we recognize, have always recognized that the members of our in-groups are capable of these very things that we hold to be morally relevant. They're capable of joy and sorrow. They care about their family. They don't want to be harmed. They don't want to die. And as time goes on, through history, people have been gradually moving toward their eyes opening to the people outside of their in-groups, also being recognized as having those very same characteristics that they consider relevant. People who used to be populations that used to be, for example, more racist. They're more and more as history has gone on over the past thousands and then hundreds of years and then recent decades have said, oh, the people who are outside of my in-group, different from me in this and that way, have these same fundamental characteristics that matter ethically when I'm talking about my in-group, and these people have these characteristics as well. Well, what does this have to do with animals? Well, non-human animals, all of the other species with which we share this planet, have the capacity to suffer. They have the capacity to experience joy. They care about their families in the case of social animals, most mammals and so on. The very characteristics that we consider relevant, that we consider what makes all of us matter, are shared by all of the other species of sentient and emotional animals with which we share this planet. And people are waking up. And I think this is indeed humankind's view of and treatment of non-human animals may well be the next great step in humankind's moral progress. And we're seeing it already. More and more people are saying no to things like circuses and zoos and places like SeaWorld, and more people are changing their diets, eating more vegetarian, eating more vegan, because they're opposed to the treatment of non-human animals in factory farms. So that is our reason to be optimistic about humankind's relationship with all of the other species, just as we have to be optimistic about humankind's moral progress with regard to our treatment of one another. So thank you all for being part of the next great step in humankind's moral progress.
So yes, I'm a founding member of ROAR, Reaching Out for Animal Rights. We are making a musical. How better to get the word out about veganism and animal rights. So here are just a few samples of just some rapping kind of stuff for that. This is called the Slaughterhouse Workers' Lament. How long can I go on doing so much wrong? Every minute slitting throats, cows, chickens, sheeps, and goats. It wouldn't be so bad if they were glad to go, but they struggle so. Sister, brother, I no longer know if I can kill another. The pay is bad and the hours long. How long can I go on? This is Farm Girl's Lament. Similar, how long can I go on living on a farm, knowing so much harm is done? To my friends, what if I stop eating them? Then could there be an end? Will my parents end the business end of it? Will that be the end of it? I'm gonna skip for lack of time. This is called the vegan's point of view, or the animal's point of view. Can you hear the oink, the duck, the moo? Can you hear and see things from the animals, the vegan's point of view?
From your dinners, not the winners. From the victims, not the systems. From the losers, not the choosers. Maybe it's something new, but you can start anew to intuit, though too few do it. You can view it from the cows, the pigs, the chickens who wish you knew it, how to view it from the vegans' point of view. It may feel nice to identify with the strong one, but when we justify it in the long run, all will be long gone. And you may sing songs in the Sing Sing prison throng, but it won't be long till you too end up in a stew and only wish you knew to choose to do it, not from the business, but from the prisoner's point of view. Thank you so much. There's a lot more, but for the sake of time, I'm cutting everything short. Last one. Food. How essential is food? Can it affect our mood? Is a cow the elephant in the room? Do we eat alone? Or if not, with whom? Do we go out to eat? Or grab and eat on the street? Gulp it down without chewing? Are we conscious of what we're doing? Substitute food for another pleasure we'd have preferred, then ate without measure, and were unnerved without treasuring each morsel served, would have preferred to simply hear a kind word? Is eating filling feelings of emptiness when we'd rather kiss or be kissed? Is it fulfilling a wish, something we missed when we were just a kid and now we're big? Is meat to eat? Or is it a fib? Do we care that a spare rib isn't really spare, but by killing, torn from a pig's side? Is it a lie, needing us to justify why we objectify? Have we tried a veggie pot pie, veggie burger with a side of fries? What's on our plate? Is it ever too late to change our fate and go plant-based? Are there any reasons? Is there ever a better time or season to seize the breeze we bees in? Get the love in the form of hugs and friendly squeezing, and as is pleasing to switch our allegiance to the healthy, sustainable, compassionate, peaceful, and in ways intriguing diet and lifestyle we be eating called vegan. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your Veggie Pie Parade. My name is Jabari Brisport. Come July, it'll be my 7th year as a vegan. I'm also a lifelong resident of Brooklyn, and I am also on the board of directors for VFAR, and I am a former city council candidate. I ran for city council in 2017. And can I just get a big hoot or holler if you're excited about the New York City fur ban that we might get? I know I'm super excited about that because when I was running for city council, I was the only candidate that I was aware of that was calling for a ban on the sale of fur in New York City. And here we are 2 years later, and it's something that actually might become a reality. That's really exciting to me. And I'm not here standing here to take credit for it. It was the work of activists and people that were protesting and organizations, animal rights organizations, and VFAR, and people lobbying for the animals. And I think a big part of it is that now in 2019, in this cycle of the city council, there are actually more vegans and vegetarians that are elected to city council than ever before, which is a fantastic thing. I forget the exact number, but I know it's not enough because it's not 51 yet. So there's not 51 vegan city council members. So when we get there, then we can get really excited. But I do think what's great is that with this critical mass we currently have of vegetarians, vegans in the city council, is that you have enough politicians who have their heart in the right place and they're all together in one space. And that's really where the magic can start to happen. And I think that's how you get it. When you get this critical mass, that's how you get Corey Johnson's fur ban. That's how you get Councilmember Carlina Rivera's foie gras ban. And, I'm an activist myself, but and I appreciate the importance of the protests and the phone calls and the marches, but I know that when my voice gets tired from shouting and when my legs get tired from marching, I just want to vote the idiots out and vote in people that agree with me. I don't know how you feel about that. So part of why I'm here today is to encourage not just political activism, but also for you or anyone that's considering a run for office. Because if we did have 51 city council members that were vegan, that's how we go from a conversation about meatless Mondays to meatless school days. That's how we go from a conversation about a foie gras ban to a poultry ban. Okay, you need to run because the animals can't run for office yet. Now, I mean, I'm a big fan of chimpanzee personhood, and I honestly think a chimpanzee would make a better president than the one we have right now. But the animals can't run yet, so you need to. And I've been talking about city council a lot, but don't just run for city council, run for state legislature, run for Congress, run for Senate, run for president, because there's like 400 people running for president already, so you might as well throw your hat in the ring and get involved, get active, and have a great rest of your Sunday.
Well, thank you all for being here, and especially for your interest in veganism and your concern for animals. Our organization is Fishfeel. It's the first organization devoted to promoting respect and compassion for fishes as sentient beings. A lot of people, when they give up so-called red meat, they instead eat more chickens and fishes. And Karen Davis was here earlier and explained the horrors that chickens endure. So I will focus on fishes. And I refer to them as fishes because that is the scientific term when you're referring to more than one species of fish. And also it's being used increasingly more often to indicate that fishes are individuals with their own unique personalities and interests, should be considered as such. A lot of people switch to that for health reasons, but it's really no healthier than eating other forms of meat. Fish have cholesterol, saturated fat, parasites, plastic in the ocean, water pollution is a big problem, and a lot of fish ingest that through their mouths and even through their gills, and it gets incorporated into their tissues. So if you're eating fish, you may very well be also eating plastic and other aquatic animals. And also farm fish are given antibiotics and parasiticides and all kinds of problematic substances, and of course mercury is a well-known problem with eating fish, so it's really not healthier for you. Environmentally, it's also problematic. Fishing, they're indiscriminately catching any creatures who happen to be out there. It's said in the last 40 years, over 50% of the aquatic wildlife has been wiped out, so we're basically desertifying the oceans. Also, when they go dredging along the bottom of the ocean, they're destroying coral reefs and other habitats, so it's very environmentally irresponsible. And a lot of people think that fish farming is a solution, but actually it's a big part of the problem, because the majority of wild-caught fish are used to feed farmed fish and shrimps and chickens and pigs. So it's a big part of the problem. And as far as fishing goes, that's all, farm fishing, also these animals suffer some of the worst abuses. When they're wild-caught, they're dredged up from such a pressure differential. Oftentimes they actually implode, their organs will come out of their bodies. They're crushed under the weights of the countless other animals who are hauled up with them. And if they do make it to the top alive, they're cut up alive or left to bleed to death or suffocate. And farm fishes are kept in very crowded conditions. They're kept in filthy, crowded conditions. They're oftentimes crawling with lice that they transmit to wild fish. They're also a big source of pollution, which is detrimental to the wild fish. So it's not farm fishing, fish farming is a big problem. It's not any kind of solution, and it's extremely cruel. Also fishing, when they're catching all these fish, a lot of them, they are commercially unviable, so they throw them back dead and dying, along with a lot of other animals that they catch, dolphins and seals, sea tortoises. Whales are caught in fishing lines and they die a slow, agonizing death. Even birds are caught in fishing gear, so we're wiping out so many other animals unintentionally and also intentionally. The government is paying to kill sea lions and seals, all kinds of sea birds, because they're competing with humans for fish, and they don't want that. So we're just wiping out so many more animals when we switch to eating fish or chicken. And these animals are not covered by the Humane Slaughter Act. They're not covered by the Animal Welfare Act. They're not even covered by the anti-cruelty statutes. You may have heard recently in North Carolina, a man was charged for abandoning his pet fish, and the fish was found with a disease, parasitic disease, and they think the fish perhaps survived by eating cockroaches that fell into the tank. So he was charged with animal cruelty, but those charges were dropped because North Carolina doesn't recognize fish as animals. So it just goes to show how specious society is towards fishes. And there's no reason to be. They have the same qualities that other animals have. They're intelligent. They have, some of the fishes are really very admirable parents. They work with other species. They've been shown to learn. So, there's no reason why we shouldn't give fish the same respect and consideration that we give any other species. A great book about that is What a Fish Knows, about how interesting and amazing and admirable fishes are. And also, Do Fish Feel Pain is a book written by Victoria Braithwaite. She's professor of fisheries and biology at Penn State University. And she has explained very eloquently the scientific evidence that shows that fish are sentient. And we also have fact sheets back on our table, that a fish sentience fact sheet, qualities, and vegan seafood resources. So all the nutrients that we get from fish and from other animals, we can easily obtain from plant sources that are better for us, better for the other animals, and better for the environment. If you like seafood, there are vegan versions of virtually any kind of seafood and any kind of fruit you can imagine. Better for us, better for the animals, better for the environment. It just makes sense. So fish need all the help we can give them. Please include fish in your advocacy and be a friend to fishes. Thank you very much.